There is an ongoing debate whether or not animals can sense the paranormal. I have a feeling that after today's list, you might change your way of thinking and become a believer, or your beliefs will just be confirmed.
Maybe one of your pets have done something that made you wonder if they're sensing something that's invisible to you. On today's most amazing top 10 list, we are going to be checking out the top 10 pets that sensed the paranormal. I'm one of your hosts, Olivia.
And I'm your other host, Joss Bedard, and I am so excited to be back here with you guys.
But before we get into it, you guys, you know we all love Joss, and we truly all need a little bit more of her in our lives. Well, good news for us, because Joss now has her own channel called CASSIE. Right after you are finished this video, make sure you head over to CASSIE to check it out. There are some videos there for you to watch already, and you really do not want to miss them.
Alright, that is enough about me and my new channel. Let's get into this. Starting off our list at number 10 is Cassie the Border Collie dog. A lady named Val Hart shared this story online in a published blog called Paranormal Pets, the Dog Who Saw Ghosts. Val is a professional animal communicator and healer, also known as a pet psychic. Throughout the story, she explains that the dog would bark wildly and fiercely stare at what appeared to be an empty space. She actually went and spoke with the dog, Cassie, and said the dog would sense a little girl ghost. That is literally like a scene from a movie. Val says she was able to tune into the girl ghost, who told her that her name was Sarah Jane and that she was born in 1885. She explained that she was never noticed by the people around her, and that when Cassie the dog moved in and could see her, it helped change her experience. Val ended up telling the dog's owner what she found, and she said that something just pulled her to move into this house, and that she feels she was meant to do that so that she could help this little girl ghost. How crazy is that? Like, what? I didn't even know dog psychics existed, in all honesty.
In our number 9 spot today, we have a ghost who just wants to play. This one starts off with just a dog hanging out, having a lay on the couch. As he's laying there, the radio suddenly turns itself on and begins changing stations, seemingly all by itself. The dog doesn't really react to this, but as humans, we know that that is just weird. Just a couple feet from the dog is what I presume is one of his toys, because why else would there just be a random ball chilling on the couch? This is when things get interesting. This ball, which was perfectly still before, just starts rolling on its own. Now this, of course, gets the dog's attention because anytime is playtime. The owner of this dog has reported other very strange happenings and objects moving seemingly all by themselves, so it seems to me that this house is probably extremely haunted. I feel like the fact that the dog doesn't seem to go crazy and really react may possibly be a sign that he is used to having the ghost around and doesn't see it as something abnormal.
Moving on to number 8, we have the bearded dragon. Who would have thought that they would have a sixth sense? One Reddit user told the story online of her bearded dragon who would pick up on shadow figures that she would usually see throughout her house. She shared the story and said, "In my old house, I frequently would see things defined as shadow people. Once, I saw one clearly walk across the TV room doorway through a room my bearded dragon was in. I went to follow it, and my beardie was all poofed up, black bearded, and mouth wide open like she was defending herself from a predator. She has never done that ever." The poofing up that she's talking about is a defense mechanism that they used to defend themselves, so clearly the dragon wouldn't have done that for just no reason at all. There obviously was something in the room that set her off to do that, which is super creepy.
In our number 7 spot today, we have Zoe. This one comes from the YouTuber Zach Clark, and it features his cute little dog Zoe. Zoe is small, but she is brave, as in the video, she clearly sees something that we don't. In the beginning, she is quite apprehensive and just keeps looking around at something, but isn't quite sure what to do. She may be a little bit confused by the fact that her owner clearly doesn't see what she is seeing. She continues looking at whatever it is that she sees, and instead of just running away, she stares it down and growls and barks at it. Possibly what she is seeing is giving her a bad energy, or maybe she's just getting a little nervous. She looks like a puppy, so it is entirely possible that maybe the shadows of the dining table and chairs on the wall is making her confused or anxious, but since we all know that dogs can see ghosts, it really could go either way.
Rolling into number 6, we have the paranormal cats. We see a lot of stories on the internet about dogs who can see the paranormal, and oftentimes apparently the dogs will just stand there and bark at a hallway or a door. We don't usually hear about cats. One person shared their experience on Reddit, explaining that when they were a kid, they stayed at their grandparents' house, which was over 80 years old and appeared to be haunted. They shared one time when their grandparents' cats seemed to sense a paranormal movement within that room. They said, "One night I was lying in bed watching TV with both my grandparents' cats lying on the bed with me. All of a sudden the door to the room swung open all by itself. Both of the cats jumped up simultaneously and I noticed the hair on their backs rose. Then both of their heads moved in sync very slowly to the right, almost like they were watching something move across the room, but there was nothing in the room visible to me." That's a freaking nightmare. That is a nightmare in itself. Apparently, this ended up going on for 10 seconds where the cat's attention was directed across the room, and then they just got up and left, as I would have done too. I would have literally moved to another country at that point.
In our number 5 spot today, we have KEYUSH. This video comes from KEYUSH the stunt dog. In the video, the dog's owner is explaining that while she was in the shower, she could hear her dog growling and barking, which was strange because he doesn't really do that unprompted. She came into the bedroom where he was and saw him acting strangely and looking up into the corner of the room. She wasn't able to catch everything on camera, but she was able to catch a bit of it, and I think his demeanor really speaks for itself.
What? There's a towel on the radiator key. You just knocked it. What were you growling at? What? What is it, Key?
The rest of the video shows Key when he's not staring at the ghost in the corner, and his attitude is so different. He seems like a very calm dog, so seeing him jump like that at a towel is definitely strange. And when he is staring into the corner, I feel like he really can see something up there.
Up next, number 4, we have the dog Lucky and the Ouija board. Two things that should never be mixed. I don't even think Ouija boards should be used by humans, let alone dogs. Like, dogs should never be around something like that. This story was shared on Bustle by a user named Veritas Way, who claimed their dog could feel spirits in the room when they played with the Ouija board. They said that as a teenager, they got together with their best friend and played the board at his house to try and summon a spirit of a little boy named John. Their dog Lucky was laying at their feet during the game. The board seemed to summon the spirit of John as the board started spelling out his name. But right before they got to the letter N, Lucky jolted up and started barking down the hallway, which was completely empty and dark. Apparently he was just going crazy as if he was going to attack something. After that, they said that they burned the board and never played again. And the creepiest part is that their house was located right across from a cemetery. No way am I bringing a Ouija board into my house when I live across from a cemetery.
In our number 3 spot today, we have this cat on top of a door. While I don't know a ton about cats, I feel like they are pretty notorious for their strange behavior, but this cat is definitely taking the cake on behavior that will freak you right out. This cat seems to have found itself on the top of 2 door frames and is clearly seeing something that we just can't. The cat's owners are filming and are obviously just as confused as we are watching the video. The cat is looking around and seems kind of confused, which I'm willing to chalk up to maybe it just found itself up there and then was struggling with figuring out how to get down. But as the cat is acting strangely, something weird flies towards the camera. It's not an orb, but it is colored like an orb. Can orbs be different shapes? I'll tell you what, take a look and decide for yourselves.
Oh, wow. What's she gonna do?
Now that was weird.
What?
I'm not sure what that thing was, but even the guy recording was confused by it, which makes me feel like ghost is a very possible explanation.
Taking over our number 2 spot is another dog that sensed a ghost. This one is a little more creepy because it's more personal. The story comes from an online user, ZeroCool72, who explained that their house was haunted and thinks that their dog could see the ghost of a previous owner. They explained the story and said, "The previous owner of my wife's house committed suicide in the house. She didn't know this until the neighbors mentioned it a few years after she bought it. Her dog would randomly stare at a certain wall in the living room and growl, like the middle of the wall, and they would just stand 6 inches away from it. You would have to touch the dog to get her to stop. She would be in a zone and calling her name would have no effect. I am so glad we moved." Ugh, what a nightmare. Honestly, do you guys believe in this stuff? Like, when you see a dog standing 6 inches away from a wall barking at it, do you think something paranormal is going on? I want to know what you believe. Let us know in the comments.
In our number 1 spot today, we have this small dog. We all know small dogs have a bad reputation for being very loud and barking and growling a lot, but what happens when it's seemingly for no reason at all? This video comes from Megan Brooks and shows a little dog who clearly sees something that she feels like she needs to protect her owner from. She continually looks back and forth between her owner and whatever she sees, and she will not back down. The video says that she is a super happy dog and nothing really makes her growl like she is in this video. I wish I could see whatever it is she is seeing, because there isn't anything that I can see which would make her mistake it for something sinister. At some points, it seems like she backs up a little bit, and that really makes me wonder if whatever she's seeing is coming closer towards them. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out. I've been your host, Olivia Kozlowski.
And I was your other host, Jasper. And
make sure
you guys check out
and subscribe to
CASSIE. I would love to see you guys over there, and make sure you let me know that Most Amazing sent you. I will see you guys in a future video.
We'll see you next time. Bye!